Hello, this video is to introduce the new Terabase Platform Bifacial Performance Modeling feature. Now, to perform a bifacial performance estimate for your project, you first do your project design within the Terabase Platform. And once you're on your product selection page, instead of selecting one of the available monofacial modules like monoperc or polycrystalline or half cell, you select bifacial as your module. Now, bifacial modules are quickly coming onto the market, and they're coming in many different product power ratings. We've selected a default rating of 420 watts, but we recognize there's others on the market, and in the future we'll be introducing more options with respect to the module power rating. Now, one of the key parameters of a bifacial module and to its ultimate performance is the ratio of its front side performance or to the backside performance. The backside efficiency is a little bit lower than the front side efficiency. Within the Terabase platform, we assume that that ratio of front to back performance is 75%, which is a commonly available value. But if you're interested in a specific module, we recommend you look at the module manufacturer data sheet to see what bifacial ratio is within their product. Now, once you select the bifacial panel, you select your mounting system, either a single axis tracker or a fixed tilt. Now, depending on the type of system, it'll influence the amount of bifacial gain you can hope to achieve on your project. And on the subject of bifacial gain, if you're interested to understand how much more performance bifacial will give you over monofacial for your project, we recommend running two simulations. First, using a bifacial panel, the 420 watt, and then repeating the simulation with the identical set of project assumptions, assuming the half cell monofacial panel to the left. That'll allow you to get a clear idea of what the potential benefits of bifacial are. Once your product has been selected, you go to the scenario analysis page. There's an important parameter for bifacial on this page, which is the assumed ground albedo. And now the albedo is the reflectivity of the ground, how much of the sun's energy bounces back onto the backside of the panel. The Terabase platform taps into a NASA database of global albedo values. So depending on your location, Terabase will derive the estimated albedo from NASA, which is calibrated based on satellite measurements taken and has global coverage. Now, if you feel like the albedo for your project is higher or lower than the NASA database, you can click Override, and that'll allow you to put in a project-specific value. And Terabase recommends that you perform on-site testing of the albedo to get the most accurate idea about how much reflectivity is on the site. A couple more things about albedo. Albedo can vary across the seasons due to snow or due to wet seasons and dry seasons, which will make the grass green or brown. And you can kind of see an extreme example of that from this farmer's field where this is what it might look like in the summer and this is what it might look like in the winter. Now, of course, it's green because it's been irrigated, but it gives you a sense for how much of an impact that can have on the reflectivity of a site. In a future release of the Terabase platform, we will allow you to adjust the albedo depending on the month, and that'll help better capture some of these seasonal effects. For now, it's just an annual value. Now, once your albedo has been selected, there's a final parameter to be considered, which is the amount of backside shading on the panel. So mounting systems such as torque tubes or struts or purlins cast shadows onto the back of the module, which reduce the amount of bifacial energy gain. The Terabase platform assumes that there's an average of 20% backside shading, but the actual shading value will depend on which structure that you use. So we recommend consulting with your structure supplier for their recommendation in terms of the amount of backside shading. If that value is different than 20%, you can override that if you click on the Losses tab. And if you look here, you can override the assumed value for bifacial shading. Obviously, if it's lower, you're going to get a higher bifacial gain. Once that's been established, you can go in and do a parametric analysis like with any Terabase simulation. So you can select, in this case, a sensitivity analysis where you may choose a couple of GCRs and DC-AC ratios. Then you click Submit, and the Terabase platform will then do two things. First, it'll do a layout of the structures onto the site, and then based on those layouts, it'll do a performance estimate for the project. One thing to know about performance estimation with bifacial is that the simulations take a little bit longer because they're computationally intensive. They can take up to a minute each. But the result is a highly accurate idea about what the bifacial performance would be. Now, one note about the Terabase performance engine. We utilize an engine called PV Factors, which is an open source Python library that's used to calculate the amount of irradiance on the back surface of the array. PV Factors is maintained in PVlib, which is a Sandia National Labs managed system. And that performance library has been validated with ground fixed tilt and single axis tracker field test data. So some real world support for the model. And it's been peer reviewed by industry experts and published at technical conferences and has been benchmarked against other commercially available bifacial performance simulations with excellent consistency results. If you'd like more information about how we model bifacial performance, please contact us and we'd be happy to share more technical information. So now that the project design's been completed and yield has been estimated, you can see a table of results here at the bottom. You can download the results here, and that'll bring you a few project-specific files, a KML of the design, as well as an Excel spreadsheet, which contains a detailed summary of the performance of the configuration, including hourly production data, monthly data, annual data, and a table of loss factors. It should provide you a lot of information about the potential performance of the site. Now, if you've got any further questions about how to optimize bifacial project design or whether or not bifacial makes sense for your project, please contact us at Terabase and we'd be happy to help you. Thanks a lot. And for any other information on the Terabase platform, please consult our YouTube page where we've got a growing library of tutorial videos to help you use the Terabase system. Thanks a lot.